You know, it's not very easy being the ultimate alpha giga chat male. It's a duty that is definitely a burden on me, but it's a duty that God has bestowed upon me. You know, in the Bible it says that man was created in the image of God. It's actually a translation error. It said that I was created in the image of God. All of y'all were, I don't know, y'all were some like, everyone else was created in the image of something else. I don't know. I didn't read the Bible. Being this omega alpha ultra chad male that I am, I always get asked, you know, does a real man cry? Does a real man shed tears? No, everyone knows that men don't cry, especially alpha omega males. Now, I do have a confession to make for you guys. While it is true, I do not cry. I do not show a glimpse of emotion because my enemies will use it against me. There is one thing that does make me cry. There is something in this world that is capable of making me shed a tear. That is anime. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. My weakness is anime. Anime death scenes in particular. I don't like to admit that I have emotions because my enemies are probably watching this video and they're gonna use my emotion against me. But anime death scenes, they just hit very different. And they make a grown-ass man like me shed some tears. Maybe even some snot. You know what I'm saying? One of those types of cries. I'm not proud, but it has happened. I have shed a lot of tears when it comes to anime. I've watched anime for over a decade now. Not every anime death scene makes me cry. It has to just be perfect. The music has to be perfect. The scene, animation, the story, the character, everything has to blend perfectly for me to shed a tear. So I made a list of animes that I can vividly remember crying to. I only was able to remember about 8 anime death scenes that I vividly remember crying to. So here's my top 8 anime death scenes that will make a grown man cry. At number 8, we got Obito's death. If you watch Naruto, you probably know that a lot of people die in that show. It's a pretty sad show. But Obito's death was a little bit different. This guy went from being the villain to being a very beloved and loved character. His death, he looked very regretful in his death. He looked like he wished he went a different path. And I guess that's what made it very, very sad. I guess he realized that trying to kill everybody in this world because a girl did not like you back maybe wasn't a good idea. Now, unfortunately, I, being a Giga Chat alpha male, I cannot relate to Obito. I never had a girl that doesn't like me. In fact, I have the opposite problems. I have too many girls that like me. But nonetheless, regardless of what his goals were, regardless of what his ideology was, you kind of wish that he didn't die. You know, maybe he could have changed his life around. Maybe he could get some bitches and man the fuck up and stop trying to destroy the world because the shorty did not want him.
Un video más, mi gente, me encanta esta vaina.
And at number 7, we got Miriam's death. The green looking dude from Hunter x Hunter. The ant guy. Yeah, his death was sad as fuck, man. It's weird to think that someone whose entire character was a character that did not care about human life and would just kill and slaughter whatever he didn't like would have such a sad death. But if you watch the anime, you would know that he had a crazy character development. I would say he definitely chilled down a bit. He definitely took a chill pill and he became much more likable. It's sad that once he became likable and actually had a heart, that his death, unfortunately, was inevitable. So seeing him realizing that life is pretty beautiful and that you could live with humans in harmony, and just seeing that scene of him playing chess with the girl and slowly dying and asking her to hold his hand. Yeah, that shit hurt, man. That shit made a motherfucker cry. I think I even had some snot coming out of my nose. Number 6, we actually have Naruto again, but this time it's Itachi's death. Now, Itachi's death is actually pretty interesting because this is the only death in anime where I didn't cry when he died. I cried after he died, like a couple of episodes later. Because as we all know, when Itachi died, we were waiting for that moment. We wanted Itachi to die. We thought this guy was so evil. We thought this guy was an absolute savage. So we were rooting for his death. Little did we know that this guy was anything but a bad guy. After he dies, we get his story kind of explained and we kind of learn why he did what he did. It is very emotional. It is a very sad death. And he actually dies. He dies again. He comes back reincarnated, then he dies again, which is even more sad. So yeah, Itachi's death, definitely one of the more sadder ones in Naruto. Loader! At number 5, we got this dude, the doctor guy from One Piece, Chopper's dad or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I forgot his name. Bruh. It's sad because he was generally such a good guy. He was generally just trying to do good and trying to help people, but everyone made fun of him. Everyone disrespected him. Everyone clowned him. And he was still nice to everybody. And, you know, seeing him taking care of Chopper and treating him like a son. And seeing Chopper realizing that for the first time someone actually cares about him. And then seeing the way he dies, it's sad. It's heartbreaking. It makes me want to adopt a reindeer and take care of the reindeer and teach him how to become a doctor. But yeah, man. Rest in peace, Dr. Guy from One Piece. At number 4, Koro Sensei from Assassination Classroom. The main point of the anime is for the students to try and kill him. At the end, he does die. Despite the fact of how goofy he looks. Dog, I f***ing cried. I vividly remember crying in my room. And then my uncle opens the door and just sees me bawling my eyes to this yellow squid-looking monster alien thing. I remember wiping my tears instantly once he walked into my room. Because he could not see me in that state where I was just bawling my eyes out to a yellow monster squid alien thing. That scene that shit just punches you in the face. Yeah, rest in peace, Koro Sensei.
Amigo de la cara. Amigo, usted no ayudante mío, vea.
Number 3, we got Hovenheim from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This one came super unexpected. This one came out of nowhere and just hit you like a fucking bullet train. Hovenheim's death is sad specifically because of the way it got executed. You see him talking to his dead wife, which, I mean, already it's sad, right? He's talking to his dead wife, and that's when you kind of are realizing, oh shit, is this guy about to die? And then the scene just cuts as he's talking in the graveyard, and then an old lady comes up to him, talking to him, and then she just finds out that he's dead. And then it's a scene of him dead while smiling, and then they play the ending song. And that shit punches you in the face like Mike Tyson. Holy shit, that shit was sad. That shit will make a grown man cry, man. And it did. It did make a grown man cry. It made me cry. Definitely made me cry. Number 2. I knew that this character dies before I even watched the show. So the fact that it still made me cry and it still hurt is amazing. Because I've seen that death scene so many times before I actually watched the anime. And I'm talking about Ace from One Piece. Now, Ace's death is a very emotional roller coaster. Because first of all, Ace is such a likable character. From the second he's introduced, you already fall in love with this character. He's so good. He's so cool. He's so dope. But the way he dies is very sad. He kind of risks his life to save his little brother. And then he gets captured and he's about to be executed. The problem is with Ace's death is that while we were expecting him to die because the way everything was being set up, Oda, the writer of One Piece, really did a quick U-turn on us because he made us believe for a second that he wasn't gonna die, that they were gonna get away and escape Marineford, that they were gonna all live happily ever after. But unfortunately, Ace gets pissed off because Akainu was talking a lot of trash about Whitebeard. And Ace, being the real one that he is, and also the idiot that he is, decides to run the fade with Akainu. And unfortunately, Ace got turned into a donut real quick. Ace got fucked up, like, bad. And just seeing him, hugging Luffy and risking his life for Luffy, talking about how happy he is that everyone cared about him, and just reflecting on his life. That shit was just so sad, man. That shit just made a motherfucker cry. And the crazy part is I did not think I was gonna cry because I've seen that scene so many times before watching One Piece. So I knew it was gonna happen. I was aware that it was gonna happen. I knew that the second I saw Ace in the anime, I knew that this character was gonna die. I knew exactly how he was gonna die. But when you actually just watch the anime and see it happening, it still fucks you up. And that shit made me cry, man. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at number 1. The most saddest anime death that I can remember. This anime death made me cry for a character that I only knew for like 5 episodes or like in the movie less than an hour. I'm talking about Rengoku from Demon Slayer. Now some of y'all might be surprised why he's number 1. There's probably more sadder anime death scenes, and there probably is more sad anime death scenes that I have or haven't watched. This one vividly has to be number 1 because, again, I was a grown-ass man, full beard, crying with snot coming down my nose. That's how fucking sad this shit was. The fact that we barely know this character, the fact that in the movie he was only there for like an hour, and in the anime only for like 5 episodes, that his death was this fucking sad, it has to be number 1. He is such a likable character, and you don't really think he was gonna die because of how strong he seemed in the show. He was just, one-shotting every demon. And then the ultimate demon, Akaza, came in, just, again, turn him into a donut. I don't know what it is with these fire users that get turned into donuts, But my boy got turned into a donut. And it was sad, man. It was sad just seeing him die, seeing him smile while he's dying, seeing him talking to Tanjiro and everyone while he's dying, seeing him remembering his mom while he's dying, and the music that plays, the soundtrack that plays, and then the ending that plays after. It's all just a perfect combination for a good cry. I remember my blanket being covered in tears and snot as I was watching this scene. That's how fucking sad it was. And it's just so crazy because, again, we barely know this character. Like, we barely see this character. He's like only there for like that one arc. So for that reason alone, I have to put Rengoku at number 1. So now that I told you guys some anime death scenes that made me cry, I want to make one thing straight. Do not think that I'm soft. I will admit, I do cry, even being the Alpha Omega chat that I am. Sometimes a man has to shed a little bit of a tear, you know? It's not good to bottle it all. It's not good to bottle up your emotions. But do not take that as a weakness. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the ultimate warrior. There is a rumor that I fought 10 bears all by myself. Now, I don't know if that rumor is true, but I know one thing. I'm still here, and I don't see no bears. But that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys cried while watching this video. And let me know what anime death scene was the saddest for you. And I'll try my best to reply to you guys. And make sure you subscribe. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.